And welcome back. Peace for that break. We are here in the JJ Zone. Join the Journey Radio today. We're talking about dating, which we've been talking about for the last few weeks here. But we're talking about specifically what is dating really all about? I mean, what is it? We just gonna go through the motions for something, or is there some you know higher purpose involved in the activity? What is dating really all about, and how can understanding what dating is really all about inform us to build a more effective approach to dating? Because, you know, quite frankly, a lot of us are frustrated with dating. And frustration, as we've discussed so many times before, is a sign that you're approaching something the wrong way. And many of us are approaching dating the wrong way, which is why we're frustrated with it. So if you feel frustrated with dating, just stop, take a step back, and reevaluate your approach. How are you approaching dating? Now, when you evaluate your approach to anything, you need to understand that thinking always informs action. We just don't, I mean, for most things that we do, the most of the approaches that we have in life, we just don't act on a whim. Okay. There's some thinking, there's some assumptions and perceptions and attitudes in the background up here in the head that's guiding us toward the actions that we're taking. So, when you evaluate your approach, you need to step back and say, what's my thinking? How am I thinking about this? And if you look at the way that, most LDS singles are thinking about dating, they're getting it all wrong, right? I mean, they really are. They are getting it wrong. You want to go back to like the fundamentals of dating, which is something that we talk about that so much here on this program. And the reason why we talk about it so much is that I can't say enough about it. Everything comes back to fundamentals. If you ground your thinking into fundamentals, then your actions become aligned with fundamentals, and the results that are produced by that action are then more aligned with the results that you really want. The results that will make you a better you, a happier you, a more joyful you, right? And of course, programs called Join the Journey Radio. That's what we're all about joy. So that's what we're all about here. So yeah, we're on that train of understanding the fundamentals of what we're trying to do. And when it comes to dating, you need to understand the fundamentals of what you're trying to do. And the importance of that, I cannot overstate that. It's like, when you're just learning how to walk, most of us that are adults can walk without even thinking about it, right? So if I told you, like, say, I get you on one side of the room and I say, okay, now I want you to walk to the other side of the room. And you could do that. And you would do it masterfully. You would do it without even thinking about it. There would be no, effort or strain. I gotta get, oh, I gotta get, and there wouldn't be any wondering about, okay, I put the right foot forward and I landed it on the ground. Now what do I do? None of that, right? You just do. You know the fundamentals and you've mastered them so well that when it comes time to execute, you just do. Walking is a skill, and it's a skill that you learn and master when you master the fundamentals. Dating is also a skill. It works the same way when you understand the fundamentals and you have those fundamentals mastered so well that when it comes time to execute, you just do. There's no awkwardness, there's no strain, there's no, reaching for, there's none of that. There's no freaking out. Oh my God! None of that. You just do. And it's enjoyable. And it's enriching and ennobling. That's what more effective brings you. But if you want more effective results, you got to have more effective action. To get more effective action, you got to have more effective thinking. And that's why we always come back here, peeps, to what's going on up here in the head. So contrary to what some people say, that it's just all luck, that people they just get luck. No. People who succeed because they follow fundamentals. They may not have been aware of the fundamentals they were following to get to their success, But in every case, they followed fundamentals. And when you understand what the fundamentals are, then you can have more success more easily. And you can be conscious. I mean, you can be aware of it. That awareness is everything, right? Because once you're aware of the fundamentals, then you can arrange your approach so that it is producing more effective results. So, this is the context, if you will, that I've approached all of these discussions. And it's especially important today. We're talking about what is dating really all about. And again, like I said in the monologue, it's not about what you want, it's about what you bring. Think about this for a minute. You know, most LDS singles approach dating with just this kind of like they kind of understand what they want. Um, there are a few, I would say a minority of the LDS singles population who understand extremely well what they want. I think the vast majority have at most a fuzzy idea of what they really want. Um, but so whatever their level of understanding is, the approach is pretty much the same. They have this idea of what they want, okay, and however well they understand that is very good by the individual. But whatever that level of understanding is, they simply look around for what they want and see if they can find a match, and then they either do one of two things. If they don't find a match, if they find a match, they go chase after the match. If they don't find a match, then they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to just give up and not do anything because the one is not there, or they're going to just look around and say, okay, well, what's the best I could do? And then they'll chase after that. That's the approach that most LDS singles take towards dating. And I'm here to tell you, this is why it's frustrating. Your approach is all wrong. It's not going to lead you to the most effective results. Because again, it's all about what you want. It's all about you taking something in. And nobody really finds that kind of life inviting. I'm sure many of us, if not all of us, have had the experience of being around the emotional black holes. Have you ever been around someone who was just so absolutely needy that they just sucked all of the energy out of you just by being around you? That's what I call an emotional black hole. Nobody likes to be around those people. Nobody. And the more you're around those people, it's just the more miserable you become because they're miserable, right? I mean, that's the energy they broadcast out, which is actually sucking something in. Nobody wants to be around those people. The people that you want to be around are the people who are interesting. And interesting people are giving people, right? Interesting people are people who are out there helping other people and doing what they can to support others. You know, interesting people are those who have interesting things in their life. Interesting people are those who have interesting qualities about themselves. And so, this is where you go back to the fundamentals of dating. Because I said in the monologue, it's not about what you want. It's not a fundamental. A fundamental of the dating process is there are stages to the journey. And in order to advance, to progress to any one of those stages, you have to have the agreement connected with that stage. How do you get that agreement? Well, again, like I said in the monologue, how do you get any agreement? By being agreeable enough. If you're not agreeable enough, you don't get the agreement. And it goes back to fundamentals. The fundamental of the dating journey is if you don't have an agreement, you don't progress. You want to progress to a particular stage, you must have the agreement connected with that stage. Those are the rules of the game. If you don't have the agreement, you don't progress there. Period. That's it. That's it. That's all there is. So you got to have the agreement, right? And the way you get any agreement is by being agreeable enough. So if you're not progressing, it's because you're not agreeable enough. So now you've got two options. Well, actually, you've got three options. First, you could give up. Let's not talk about that because we're not here, because there's no joy in giving up. There is no joy to be had in giving up. So let's not go down that route. The other thing you could do is, well, like I said in the monologue, I mean, you do have the option of trying to find somebody whose bar is set so low that the way you are now, you are agreeable enough. But, that doesn't really tend towards the most happy and fulfilling of relationships. What's more probable to come out of that option is because you're willing to just not make changes in you, then you're going to be attracting that energy out to other people. And you're going to be attracting other people who don't want to make any changes in them and are willing to just take anything. And that's not going to be a really enriching and ennobling type of relationship. At best, you're just going to be existing in some, space of mediocrity. That's not what you're here for. I mean, you are here with the potential to have more, to experience more, to be more, to live more. And that's why I like the last option number 3. Behind door number 3, we have, no, it's not an exciting new car. Although it could be if that's what you want to put in your life. I mean, that is door number 3 is make you a better you, make your life a better life. And most people will shy away from that. They won't even go to that because it requires work. And we don't want to do the work. But this is the way it happens, right? You do the work. So the bar is set up high. Now, like I said in the monologue, the bar may be set unrealistically high. But the bar is still set where it's set. So you sitting there complaining about how you're not reaching the bar as you are, that's not helping you reach the bar, because the fundamental is you have to secure the agreement in order to progress, and you won't secure the agreement if you're not agreeable enough. So make yourself agreeable enough. And this is the better approach to dating, because even while you're not like actively dating anybody, by working on improving yourself and making you a better you, by embracing a personal ministry, that contribution of goodness that you want to bring to the world, embracing that as you make your life interesting. And all that increases the probability that, you're going to find somebody whose bar's set lower than where you're at. And when you get that, you become agreeable enough, you secure the agreement you need, and you make progress in your dating journey. We're up against a break, so let's go ahead and take that break. We come back from the break. I want to explore this concept of, getting good with you and making you a better you and making your life your best life. I want to explore that concept more in depth. I want to just explore this idea of how dating really is all about what you bring and not just, what you want. And of course, there is a place for what you want. I sort of mentioned it in the monologue, but I didn't really talk about it all that much. I want to talk more about what that place is and how what you want really can manifest itself in the dating journey with a more effective approach toward dating. We're going to tackle all of that later in the program. I will see you there on the other side.